With the NFL draft over and rookie minicamp starting, NFL media, analysts, and fans online are all casting their offensive and defensive Rookie of the Year guesses. We'll start our series off with defense. One man the national media has seemingly looked over is the Seattle Seahawks 16th overall pick Byron Murphy II, the defensive tackle out of Texas. The 6'1", 305-pound product of DeSoto, Texas, had 79 tackles and 14 sacks as a senior in high school. Those numbers are insane. As a true freshman at Texas in 2021, he played in all 12 games with one start. He recorded 15 tackles and 2 sacks. Obviously not close to the production he had as a senior in high school, but that shows you that even the elite have to adjust when stepping up to the next level. Being buried on the Texas depth chart by eventual NFL draft picks Keondre Coburn and Moro Ojomo, his sophomore season resulted in only one start in 13 games with 26 tackles and 1 sack. His junior year, he became a starter and amassed 29 total tackles, 8.5 tackles for a loss, and 5 sacks. He also ran for a touchdown and had a touchdown reception. At first glance, his stats don't seem as gaudy as you'd expect from the second defensive player taken in the entire draft. But I assure you, there are reasons he was named the Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year. Remember, he played nose tackle at 305 pounds when he had 360 pounds of sweat alongside him. To understand why the position he plays is a tougher one to evaluate, let's take a look at some of the first-round defensive tackles recently and their senior season stats, total college stats, and rookie season stats. The 2023 NFL Draft saw 3 defensive tackles taken in the first round. The first of those 3 was Georgia's Jalen Carter, taken 9th overall by the Eagles. According to Sports Reference, his senior season stats were as follows: 30, 2 total tackles, 7 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 3 passes defended. His 3-year college career resulted in 83 total tackles, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 4 passes defended. Compared to Byron Murphy's 70 total tackles, 15 tackles for a loss, and 8 sacks. Definitely comparable, right? Jalen Carter's rookie season stats were 33 total tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, 9 quarterback hits, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 defensive touchdown. He finished second in the Defensive Rookie of the Year voting. The second defensive tackle selected in the 2023 NFL Draft was the 19th overall pick of the Buccaneers, Elijah Kancey. His senior season stat line was 31 total tackles, 14.5 tackles for a loss, and 7.5 sacks. His 3-year college career resulted in 91 total tackles, 34.5 tackles for a loss, 16 sacks, 3 passes defended, and 1 forced fumble. His stats looks much more attractive than Murphy's or Carter's to the naked eye, but let's remember, the ACC is not as competitive as the SEC or Big 12. His rookie season stat line was 26 total tackles, 10 tackles for a loss, 12 quarterback hits, for sacks, and 1 pass defense. He finished 10th in Defensive Rookie of the Year rankings. That inferior ACC talent seemed to translate just fine to me. The third defensive tackle taken in the 2023 NFL Draft was Mazi Smith of Michigan, taken 26th overall by the Cowboys. His senior season stats were 48 total tackles, 2.5 tackles for a loss, and half a sack. His 3-year Big Ten college career resulted in 88 total tackles, 6 tackles for a loss, half a sack, 3 passes defended, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. All in all, Mazi had a wonderful career, but to some his lack of getting after the quarterback would be seen as a red flag. That is one of the reasons defensive tackle is hard to evaluate, because it's not all about sacks as an interior defensive lineman. Look at double team percentage, pass rush win rate, run stops, and hurries. Look at all the ways a defensive tackle makes the game easier for the linemen around him. Aaron Donald constantly made the linemen beside him better. Gerald McCoy did the same during his prime. Michael Bennett was a menace to the point where they would say he was unblockable, but the guys around him excelled. Georgia won back-to-back national titles behind a nasty defensive line built from the inside out. Now let's get into the reality of Byron Murphy II's Senior season stats. The sack stats may not scream that Murphy was the best interior pass rusher in the FBS last year, but what does immediately tell me is his FBS leading 19.6% pass rush win rate for interior defensive linemen, which is tied with Kalijah Kancey for the highest single season win rate from Power 5 interior D linemen since 2014, higher than the best collegiate seasons of guys like Jalen Carter, Quinnen Williams, Chris Jones, and Jonathan Allen. Yes, it is a little strange saying a guy with 8 total college sacks was the second defensive player picked in the entire draft. But if you remember, Chris Jones only had 8.5 sacks in college, and he is well on his way to Canton. On plays without play action, Murphy had 38 total pressures on 180 snaps for an insane 21.1% pressure rate, more than 7% higher than that of the next interior prospect in this year's draft. Though his run-stopping ability is not as daunting or intimidating as his former teammate Tavonder Sweat, but it is still above the average level of his peers. His 9.5% run-stop rate was 26th in the nation among all interior defensive linemen. He was second in total pressures with 45 behind only Brandon Dorless with 46. Not many players of his size run under for 0.9 seconds in the 40-yard dash, and his explosiveness will create issues for opposing guards and centers in the NFC West. Seattle Seahawks general manager John Schneider said about Murphy, "I'm sure he would have liked to have more sacks and more tackles and that kind of stuff. But there was so much production that he got in the way we grade and track production with taking doubles, taking two gaps, keeping guys clean at the linebacker position. It was just incredible how he did it day in and day out. I know the one thing you're going to get from this guy. He's going to show up every day with a growth mindset, and he's going to give everything he's got, and I think he's going to be a really good pro." I'm not here to say that Byron Murphy II will be the NFL's next Defensive Rookie of the Year, but I am saying he should very much be in the conversation. What do you think? Does Murphy have what it takes to achieve the same success at the next level?